All right, let's dive into one of the most chaotic clashes from WWE Extreme Rules 2019. This was a night that promised mayhem, and believe me, it delivered. A story of legends, villains, and a moment that's going to go down in wrestling history. You know, the commentary team just nailed it with this line. It really sets the whole scene. This was the story of the match, plain and simple. Two titans, completely outnumbered, facing a stacked deck in a fight with zero rules. So let's kick things off with Act 1, where this totally unheard of team-up looked, well, completely unstoppable right from the moment the bell rang. So on one side, you've got this wild pairing of Roman Reigns, the big dog, and the absolute icon, The Undertaker. And on the other side, the super arrogant duo of Shane McMahon, who is actually calling himself the best in the world, and his muscle, the seriously dangerous Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre. And here's the kicker. The match was no holds barred. That's just a fancy way of saying absolute total chaos was pretty much guaranteed. Anything, and I mean anything, was legal. And right from the get-go, that chaos was their friend. This unlikely alliance, it was just flawless. Reigns and Undertaker were moving like they'd been a team for years, completely overpowering their opponents. The dead man looked, as the commentator said, totally reinvigorated. Okay, so let's get to Act 2, because this is where everything starts to flip on its head. The villains didn't just fight their way back in, they turned the tables with a really smart, vicious plan. And man, you could just feel the momentum shift. McIntyre and McMahon started using their tag team experience, and they had one single goal: get Roman Reigns alone, cut that ring in half, and keep him away from The Undertaker. And their strategy was just brutal and methodical. They were making quick tags to stay fresh, physically blocking Reigns from getting to his corner, and just slowly picking him apart, all while The Undertaker had to just stand there and watch. And for a few minutes there, it really felt like their plan was working perfectly. They were in total control, and you could just see that smug confidence all over Shane McMahon's face. But just when The Undertaker finally gets the tag and starts cleaning house, this 2-on-2 match completely explodes into a full-blown ambush. So the dead man is back in, and he is all business. He takes care of Drew, clears off the announcer's table, and he's got Shane McMahon set up for what looks like the end. You're thinking, okay, this is it. The legends have got it. But then this happens. Out of absolutely nowhere, Elias runs in and just smashes a guitar right across The Undertaker's back. And that one moment completely changed everything. Drew McIntyre immediately follows that up with a massive Claymore kick that just levels Roman Reigns. So with Roman out of the picture, things look really bad. It's now 3-on-1 against a stunned and pretty much defenseless Phenom. What came next was just brutal. A perfectly coordinated attack. McIntyre and Elias drag The Undertaker onto the table. Shane McMahon climbs all the way to the top rope, and then he just leaps, delivering this huge elbow drop that sends The Undertaker crashing right through the table, leaving him completely motionless. But come on, this is The Undertaker we're talking about here. You can't keep the dead man down. And that brings us to the final act, the resurrection. So the villains drag Taker back into the ring. Shane McMahon goes up for his signature coast-to-coast. He launches himself across the ring, and just as he does, The Undertaker sits bolt upright. The whole place just went absolutely insane. And at that exact same second, as Drew McIntyre's running in for another Claymore to finish the job, Roman Reigns comes flying in out of nowhere and hits a massive spear. He saves his partner, and just like that, the odds are even again. From there, the end was just a beautiful, chaotic blur. The Undertaker gets up, he grabs Elias by the throat, and a thunderous chokeslam takes him right out of the picture. Roman Reigns is right there to cut off Shane McMahon, stops him from escaping, and basically serves him up on a silver platter to the dead man. And we all know what comes next, right? The iconic, match-ending tombstone piledriver. 1, 2, 3. And that is all she wrote. It's over. The match was done, they got the win, but honestly, what happened after the bell rang was just as significant as the victory itself. It was this amazing moment that said everything without a single word. So after all that, we got to see something pretty special. The Undertaker, a guy who almost never breaks character, puts a hand on Roman Reigns' shoulder and gives him this clear, deliberate nod, a nod of pure respect. And you could just feel how much weight that gesture carried. The commentators called it immediately. This was a symbolic passing of the torch, a massive statement from one of the greatest of all time to the man carrying the company now. This whole incredible performance, this crazy alliance, and that powerful show of respect, it really leaves you with one final thought, doesn't it? We were watching a living legend. And it's a great reminder to really appreciate these amazing moments while we still can.